Greetings, my beautiful lovelies. It's Emmy. How are you? It's great to see you and welcome back. Today's video is sponsored by Truman's. Truman's brings non-toxic cleaners straight to your door, minus the single-use plastic. So I like the fact that Truman products are made with non-toxic ingredients. I don't have to be concerned that I am polluting my waterways. I also like that I can order refills when I'm ready and that I'm not buying more single-use plastic. So another thing I really appreciate about Truman's products is that they're not perfumed. I am very sensitive to scents, smells, perfumes. So the fact that these are non-toxic and they're not scented is such a great thing for me because I am so sensitive to them. They give me a headache and they just make me feel unhappy. So I also find, this is a little TMI, that my toilet is a lot cleaner since I've been using Truman's Reporting for Duty. They're super little convenient bars that you just drop into your toilet, let them dissolve, and can swish, and your toilet is clean. I love the convenience of the little bars, and I do it a lot more regularly because of that. This is Truman's Home Care Membership Bundle, and it includes dishwasher bars. So you just pop this into the little slot in your dishwasher, close them up, they dissolve, and that's that. These are the Reporting for Duty toilet bars, and these are the laundry bars. Same thing here. So bundles ship for free in 100% recycled packaging that's also compostable and recyclable. Truman's offers a 30-day money-back satisfaction guarantee, and get 20% off all Truman's bundles by clicking the link down below. Big thanks to Truman's for sponsoring this video. Now today I'm going to be making a recipe that just sounds so lovely, and it comes from this book, The Taste of Country Cooking by Edna Lewis, otherwise known as Miss Lewis. This book is so lovely. It is such a gem. Not only are the recipes tried and true, these are recipes that Edna grew up seeing made in her home, but the writing in this is so lovely. It is tender, it is heartfelt, beautiful and concrete. It's just a pleasure to read, besides being a great cookbook. So Edna Lewis's story begins in Freetown, Virginia, which was a settlement that was created by her grandfather, who was a former enslaved person and was given some land in Virginia, and they called it the Free People's Town, which became Freetown. And it sounded like such a lovely bucolic place, a community that her grandfather established, and other families came to live there as well. They established their own school, their own church, and they grew everything themselves. So that explains how this book is organized. Spring, summer, fall, and winter. So this is an example, Sunday Revival Dinner. Our revival week always began on the second Sunday in August. Memories of slavery lingered with us still, and revival was in a way a kind of Thanksgiving. The fruits of our hard labor were now our own. We were free to come and go, and to gather together for this week of reunion and celebration. So this is the apple pie that Edna Lewis remembers and grew up with. And what I find so interesting about it is that it, in fact, is 3 separate apple pies that are stacked on top of each other. So when you cut a wedge, you get 3 layers of apple pie. Not only that, this filling is made with homemade applesauce. I've never had an apple pie that way before, and I've never made applesauce before, and I've never had a triple-decker pie before. So we're going to do all these things today because I just have to know what this apple pie tastes like. Alrighty, let's go ahead and do this. So I took 4.5 pounds of apples. I had a bunch of different varieties. I actually did a taste test of heirloom variety apples on Instagram. Also put the link down below in case you missed that. And I peeled them, cut them roughly into quarters into a large pot. To that, I added a 1/2 cup of sugar and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Place that on a medium flame for 10 minutes. And then at that point, the apples should exude a lot of water, and that should be enough water to cook the apples in. And allow this to simmer on medium-low for about an hour until all the apples have softened. So once the apples are cooked, you're going to add some freshly grated nutmeg. We're going to add some additional sugar for the pie filling. The recipe calls for 1 cup, but you can adjust this to your taste and depending on how sweet your apples are. I ended up adding 3/4 of a cup. In a large bowl, we're going to sift 3 cups of all-purpose flour, and then add a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. To that, we're going to add 1 cup of lard that's nice and cold, that's been cut up into small pieces. Next, we're going to incorporate the fat into the flour. You can use a pastry blender, you can use a couple butter knives, you can use a fork, or you can use the technique that I used and I learned from Stella Parks. You use your thumbs and your pointer fingers and you just give each little cube a pinch. To that, we're going to add a half cup of ice water. Get all of the flour moistened and then form this into a dough. And then cover it and allow the dough to rest for 15 minutes before rolling out. Divide it into 3 pieces because we're going to make 3 pies. So take each of those pieces and divide them about 2/3 to 1/3. You're going to use the larger piece for the bottom crust and the smaller piece for the top crust. To roll out the top crust, we're going to take 2 pieces of parchment paper, place your dough ball that's been rounded in the middle, press it with the palm of your hands, and roll it out thinly, and then place it in the refrigerator to keep it nice and cold. So once you've rolled out your bottom crust pastry, make sure it's well floured, fold it in half, and fold it in half again so you have it in quarters. Then place it into your pie pan and then unfold it. Make sure you have enough dough overhanging and then press the dough into the pan. Then I used a pair of kitchen shears to cut off the excess dough. So then we're going to wrap it and then place it in the refrigerator and make sure it stays chilled until we're ready to fill it. I thought this would be a great opportunity to use this gadget. This is a pie crust bag. I bought this from the King Arthur Flour website. It says that you're supposed to be able to roll out a pie crust easier. It's supposed to be nice and round because you're doing it in this bag. So I've already washed this and I have to say it feels really flimsy and kind of cheap. It reminds me of those bags that sheets and bed linens used to come in. But I really want to find out how well this works, and apparently many of you who follow me on Instagram do as well. So the instructions say to liberally flour both sides. We're going to place the dough in here and then close it. I guess the idea being that we have this circle as a guide. It's supposed to make a more even pastry. I find a simple trick for making a round pie crust is just to keep turning it a quarter turn with every roll. Quarter turn. I like to roll dough from the middle out. I find if I spend too much time on the edges, they get too thin. I do like that it's clear so I can very easily see where my pie crust is. The zipper is a problem though. If you have a rolling pin that's larger than this, it just keeps catching on that. Definitely don't need this gadget. I do like the idea that you can wash and reuse this, but you can do the same thing with wax paper or parchment paper as well. Now to this we're going to add our applesauce that we made, and I'm using 2 cups because 1.5 cups doesn't seem quite enough. So I'm going to spread this around. Now we're going to take a little bit of water on our fingertips and moisten the edge. Situate our pie crust over the top, press to seal, trim off the excess. Use the tines of a fork and just press all the way around to seal the 2 crusts. Oh, I love it. Next, we're going to slit some vents into this, and Miss Lewis says the more vents we make, the crisper the top crust will be. So I'm going to make a little star pattern. Now we're going to pop this into a 425-degree oven and bake it for 45 minutes. Alrighty, my beautiful lovelies, I am back. We are here to finally assemble and finish the last steps of the late, great Miss Edna Lewis's apple pie. So let's try doing it like this. Beautiful. And then use this to transfer it onto this. Whoa. Okay, pie number 1. So maybe doing it in a disposable pan is a good idea. Okay, look at that. All of this is quite tricky. Alrighty, my beautiful lovelies, will you look at that? What a beauty! A sight to behold. 3 apple pies. Let's tuck into this. Just like a cake. Amazing. Can you hear that? So flaky. Beautiful. Oh my gosh, that's gorgeous. Triple stacked apple cake. Beautiful. Yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What a brilliant idea. Alrighty, my lovelies, let's finally give this a taste. Alrighty, to Miss Lewis, itadakimasu. Lovely. Oh, so lovely. Just lovely. That pie filling tastes beautifully of apples. There's just a little bit of texture in there. That nutmeg really makes the apples shine. What I really like is that the filling is not too sweet. So because we've stacked 3 pies, we have 6 layers of pastry here. 6 layers of beautiful pastry and apple filling. And because we have so many layers, it's a different pie experience. You've got more pastry, you've got those layers, it's got a little bit more bite. So the textural experience is different and I love it. Look at that crust. See how flaky that is? So there you have it, my lovelies. That's how you make Edna Lewis's beautiful summer apple pie. Please read this book, The Taste of Country Cooking by Chef Edna Lewis. A gem. Alrighty, my beautiful lovelies, thanks as always for tuning in, and big thanks to Truman's for sponsoring this video. If you'd like to get 20% off any of Truman's bundles, click the link down below. Thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed that one. I hope you learned something. Please share this video with your friends. Follow me on social media, like this video, subscribe, and I shall see you in the next one. Toodaloo, take care.